everyone. So today we are doing take 2 for my interview with the most beautiful girl, Ali. So we're just waiting for her to jump on live so she can just shared a live with me. So let me invite her. Hold on a second. We're going to be talking about all things orgasmic. It's going to be freaking juicy. So, hi Oliver. So, let me know if you've got any questions while we wait for Ali to hop on. Oh no, that's not what I want to do. Oh, there you are. I was just going to message you. Yay! Okay, Ali is joining the live. There is a bit of a delay, so apologies. Hello.
Hello. Sorry, I couldn't find. I was waiting for you, and then I was like, "Oh, hang on, I have to go into the live again, into your thing." Okay.
That's right. You're here. So let's start off with by you introducing yourself to, I guess, all of my followers that might not know you yet.
Well, I am Ali Gomulka. Let me just fix this. I am a sexuality coach. I guess my passion, my specialty is women's pleasure and orgasms. I have been on my own incredible awakening journey, and now I'm just so passionate about sharing this with the world. And like I spoke to Lisa the other day about how, you know, to me it's not just the orgasms, which yes, that's the big thing. That was the thing I struggled with, and that's why I'm super passionate about women actually being able to, you know, feel into this pleasure that's available to them. But it's not just the orgasms. You know, once you tap into that aliveness within you, that eros, all of that gives you the access to the orgasms, it expands every area of your life. Creativity, business, relationships, love, all of it. So that's me. That's my passion. Thank you for having me, by the way.
You're welcome. I want to start today actually, because I know you share a lot about this, about what does being multi-orgasmic mean to you?
Multi-orgasmic. So, and yeah, I use this term a lot, and in, I suppose, you know, basic form is I see it as, and I feel it as, the ability to, you know, feel the full extent of my pleasure over and over and over. There is no limit. There is no, you know, back in the day when, you know, as you know, I couldn't achieve or experience orgasms. I never had, except without an intense vibrator. But even then, it was, you know, forcing. It was this big force, bypassing with adrenaline to access this big peak, this big thing, and then it was over. That was the extent of my aliveness. It would come and peak to here, and that was it. Whereas to me, being a multi-orgasmic woman is someone who is so in touch and continuing. I mean, this is, you know, I never stop evolving and growing, and I think that's the way for all of us to be. But who, you know, you're so in touch and connected to that aliveness, to that eros, to your body, and all of that, that there is no limit of what you can achieve, and there is no limit of pleasure. And even, you know, we were talking the other day, even the peaks of pleasure that you have. So orgasms are just a buildup of energy, a peak of energy, right? But so often, you know, women, and myself included in the past, we just focus on this end goal, the orgasm, right? That we're missing the subtleties of sensations along the way. And to me, the reason that I can be multi-orgasmic in a, you know, physiological way is because now I pay attention to the subtleties along the way, and I feel the pleasure on a whole other level every step of the way. It's not like I'm just, you know, during intimacy or self-pleasure, just waiting, trying to wait for this big explosion of pleasure, and that's it. It's not about that. It's about just this delicious, pleasurable, enjoyable, you know, these sensations and this energy all along the way. And being multi-orgasmic is basically just allowing yourself to feel that as much as it desires to peak and come and go. I do love a good pun. I do love a good pun, but that's it. And you know, like I said, I talk a lot about orgasms because I know a lot of women are still focused on that, like I was. I mean, back in the day, I didn't understand this work. So to me, what drew me in was being able to orgasm. That's what I thought was my big end goal. What I needed help with was to feel more pleasure and orgasm. Whereas the orgasm came from so much more, you know, accessing that pleasure along the way. And it's just incredible.
I love that. And what I really hear from you when you speak is like being the present to the sensations in our body, feeling our aliveness as we're, I guess, having intimacy with a loved one, with whoever we're having intimacy with. The only piece I want to add on that is I have a lot of people, and I'm having a lot of conversations about being numb and disconnected at the moment. And for me, my struggle wasn't necessarily the orgasm. I was enjoying sex because of how numb and disconnected I was. I had no connection with that aliveness. So I'm wondering, like, what was your journey to being able to feel those sensations, to be able to have the orgasm and to be able to enjoy sex like you do now?
That's it. And I didn't, you know, I would force myself, you know, I had very low libido. I didn't want to have sex because sex didn't feel the way it feels now. And I was so focused on just achieving the orgasm. So sex in general, I was so numb to all the sensations and the subtleties along the way that sex wasn't enjoyable. And I wasn't, you know, I wasn't feeling anything. And I've spoken a lot about when I started my own awakening journey, and I was assigned by my intimacy coach, mentor, Vic, who I now study under, Selfpleasure practices at home. I felt nothing, and it was so incredibly fucking boring. And it was just, it was. And I think she assigned me in the beginning 20 or 30 minutes. I couldn't. I switched off the phone after I think 5 or 10 minutes. It was so boring because I did not feel anything. And I sat there trying to touch my pussy and touch my body, and there was just nothing. There was nothing. Because I had shut myself down from all those sensations, focusing on the end goal, not realizing that the end goal would there we go, another pun, by awakening myself to just being with whatever was there. And that's what I did. And I would experiment with different, you know, types of touch on my pussy. And I had my partner at the time would do orgasmic meditation. It was all about reawakening from the numbness that I had down there, and the disconnect from my body and my pleasure. And it took me a while to really drum into my head, actually, in self-pleasure practices, to stop focusing on the orgasm. Even though I was told that in the beginning, I would go into self-pleasure going, okay, I won't focus on the orgasm. And then I would be, you know, this voice in my head, well, what's the point of this? If I'm not feeling an orgasm, what is the point of this? And it was just awful, but I stuck with it, even though I didn't even really fully understand at the beginning. It took a while of understanding why I was doing this. And then it started to make sense. And I would stroke myself, you know, even just on my arm or across my chest, or I would swirl my hips, and it would just begin to awaken the eros within me and the arousal. And I was like, because to me, to feel aroused before, it was, you know, really trying to rub one out, which I could never do, by the way, anyway, or using an intense vibrator. That was my arousal. Whereas once I began understanding that you can tap into this arousal and this aliveness by just tapping into and becoming more aware of the sensations, of the emotions, all of that's present in your body, you're connecting to that, and you're awakening that aliveness where your pleasure lives inside. If that makes sense.
It does. I kind of like totally resonate, because you know, I did the 30-minute self-pleasure practice and I kept it to myself and I did not tell anyone. It only lasted 5 minutes. I'm just like,
I
oh
hear you.
my God. I'm like, I'm tapping out. This isn't doing anything for me.
Yeah, and that's, I warn my clients now, and I warn them, you are going to be bored because you have trained yourself to, you know, we've numbed out of all this. We don't know how to connect to our bodies and our eros and our and all of that. So it takes time. And that was the only thing that I'm grateful that when I set my mind to something and I knew that there was this calling for something, greater pleasure, greater, you know, everything magic in life, but I didn't know what. So I stuck it out. And that's what I say to my clients. Don't expect to go into your first self-pleasure practice and actually enjoy it. You know, you may not. And you may, you know, take the whole idea of arousal and pleasure out. That will simply come up when you commit to being present. Commit to being present with whatever is there. And sometimes, sorry, that will be, you know, the sadness or the anger that needs to move through. And in order to access our pleasure, which is, you know, just on the whole spectrum of sensations, we have to open ourselves up to the rest, you know. And I didn't understand this. I am a chronic overthinker and always have been. So I thought I was in touch with my emotions because I would be very emotional. That's not the same thing as on a somatic level. Aha, hello, Cassie. And I didn't understand because I was shutting off to, you know, all the sadness and the anger in me, going around in circles in my head, but shutting off to that and trying to access the pleasure. Whereas the pleasure is just one piece of your aliveness. And if you commit to just, you know, moving through, if there's trapped anger or sadness in your body that on a somatic level you haven't allowed to shift through, that energy is stuck there. You can't the only way you can bypass that to your full arousal, well, not even your full arousal, but to arousal, is via adrenaline, which is very short-lived, wham bam, thank you, man. But if you want to access your arousal and the full extent of your pleasure, you have to feel whatever is there first. And you feel into that and you begin to open up and expand to all that is there. You know, you move that energy through. It no longer, you know, is stuck and stifling and causing you to sabotage, to feed the beast with whatever other things to numb. But you're feeling into that and then allowing your pleasure to be felt to its full extent too.
Hey, you literally just basically said it all.
That's
it. Job done. No, I'm interested to know, how has this tuning into your aliveness, your self-pleasure practice, changed your like relationships, your, I guess, your external world?
Jesus Christ. I can't even. And I had been on the personal development journey for, you know, several years leading up to this. And I truly believe like there is every step of the way led to the next. I couldn't have jumped through any of that to get to sexuality because at that point I wouldn't have been ready to understand. So every part was important, but I had thought that I had done a lot of the inner work. You know, I had overcome, you know, bulimia, emotional eating, drug abuse in the past, changed my whole mindset, developed, you know, a compassion and love for myself, which I'd never had before. I'd done all that work and became a fitness instructor. So I'd done, you know, I'd put in the hard yards, done the work. I didn't think there was much else. But again, there was this little piece of me that was like, there's more. There's got to be more. Like, why, you know, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling that there's more. But I just, like a lot of people and women, was just settling back into, oh, no, but, you know, technically my life is great now. You know, I should just accept it. But then when I started, you know, I stumbled across the sexuality work and I started doing that, it was like this, oh, okay, now I get it. This has gone a whole nother level. It's like the final missing piece of the puzzle that tapped me. It was like plugging me. That's how I see it, is plugging me completely in to all of me, which, you know, I've said this word so many times already, but aliveness. And you know what we mean by that. But your aliveness, your life force energy. And before doing this work, I was already, you know, into the soul connecting work and living life in alignment. And I was very passionate about that. And I had, you know, come so far that I was living a life that was in alignment then. But when I started doing this work, it just started stumbling. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I talk too much. It just started unfolding in front of me at this rapid pace of like, it was like the steps were appearing in front of me for every part of my life. And I didn't know I was going to go and teach sexuality. I started becoming passionate and incorporating it in my mindset work with my, you know, the women I was working with, trying to heal their eating issues and all of that. And I started incorporating it then, but I had no idea I was going to teach it. But the more I delved into this work and tapped into my life force energy, things were just starting to appear. And, you know, doing the course that I'm just about to finish now and all of this, you know, when I signed up, I didn't have, I was broke. I'd gone through, you know, a lot of crap. I had no money. You know, I was struggling with all of that stuff, but it was this aliveness that was in me that was like, it's okay. This is a complete yes with your life force energy. We've got you. And it happened. The money came. I had no issue. It was just like this magic. And that's how I see it now. This magic that just brings everything. And all I have to do is to commit to my self-pleasure, which is not, you know, the masturbation. It's about committing to being with whatever is alive within me, and the steps will show along the way. And in every area of my life has just dramatically exploded, and things are happening so perfectly. And as you know, I had a bit of a teary this week, because something that I was trying so hard for and manifesting didn't come into fruition. And
but also it's about being human. That's what I want to say. It's kind of like self-pleasure is honoring the human side of us, which is, guess what? We get to cry some days. Yes, I was angry. I had self-pleasure.
That's right. And I had a cry about my first world problem, and I was like, I get to feel sad about this. I am okay to feel sad. And this is the commitment to your aliveness, which, you know, unravels to the pleasure. But I sat there and I had a big pity party saying, I've lost my magic. Where's my magic gone? I don't trust in my magic anymore. And then the next day I had this moment. I let myself feel into this sadness and this energy and move it through and tap in my body and shake my body and all of this. And then the next day it dawned on myself and Patty, my partner, that what we wanted to move now was actually going to put off our big dream that both our aliveness is connected to on a much bigger scale. It was actually going to veer us off that big path and put that dream many years more down the track. So I see it now, and I see it's okay. I trust this aliveness, and it's guiding me perfectly through every part.
For the people that obviously would like to experience the orgasms, like you say, what's some few words that you can offer them? So I guess the next time they even want to be intimate with themselves, because I truly believe that like that's just as important, or being intimate with another person.
Yep. Okay. Number one, take the focus off the orgasm. And I know it can be easier said than done when you just want to feel the pleasure, because when I was taking the focus off the orgasm, there was nothing there. You know, there was nothing. So I know it's easier said than done, because you think, well, that's all I've got is trying to get that. But if you take the focus off the orgasm, and my number one, you can see my dog in the background playing with the couch. My number one piece of advice is to just be present. So whether you're touching your body or your partner's touching you, see if you can feel a bit deeper into where your fingertips are running. See if you can be alive to those sensations there. And every time your mind wanders, which it will, that's completely normal. The goal is not to stop the mind. The goal and the work is in the practice, just like meditation, bringing it back into the body. So when your mind starts thinking, oh, the dishes in the kitchen need to be cleaned up, come back. What can I feel here? And then my third piece is to whatever arises, feel into that. So if tears want to flow, or you want to pound the pillow in your self-pleasure practice, let that come out. And again, for women who don't feel much pleasure, and that's what you're trying to achieve, you can think it's counterintuitive by thinking, well, I'm taking myself off the path of pleasure here. But no, like I said before, your pleasure lies in your ability to feel whatever is alive in that moment. So if that anger wants to come out, or those tears, you don't need to know where it's come from, the story behind it. Can you hear him? I think my daughter might have come home out the front. That's why he's carrying on. If you commit to feeling into whatever is there in the moment, you're shifting that stuck, yeah, my daughter's coming around the back. You're shifting that stuck energy that then frees you up to feel into your arousal, whether it's in that same session or in the next session. It doesn't matter, but just commit. So number one, focus on the orgasm. Number two, be present in the body and see if you can feel deeper into the sensations. And three, be present with whatever is alive, whatever emotions. You know, if sadness wants to come up, go, well, how can I feel the sadness in my body? What does it feel like? Is it a racing of the heart? Is it a churning in the belly? And start to communicate with that. You know, communicate and connect with your body and the sensations. And that's the most powerful way to connect to the sensations of the pleasure. All right?
Oh, I love that. How can people find you, and any offerings that you have that you would like to tell people about?
Okay, so you can follow me on my Insta, Ali Gomulka. I'm pretty sure it'll be up here, obviously, from the sharing, or same name on Facebook. I did start a business page, but I tend to, my personal profile is where I run my stuff out of. You can contact me if you wish for one-on-one somatic self-pleasure mentoring, where we take you into this, you know, the women who know that there is more there waiting for you. Pleasure, yes, but all of it. You know, this is where we're going to bring you in and tap you into all of this. And also, I am beginning my in-person self-pleasure circles in Brisbane and the Gold Coast. As of next month, I'm securing venues as we speak. So if you follow my page, particularly on Facebook, Ali Gomulka, my personal page, you'll see all the info, and you'll see a link to my private women's group as well that you can join, the Untamed Woman. But yeah, I'll have all the details coming up soon about that, which I'm so passionate about, because self-pleasure circles were like one of the biggest things on my journey that helped me unravel.
Yay! Well, thank you so much for your time today.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me, you gorgeous woman.
And if any of you have any questions about today's chat, feel free to either message me and I can pass on the questions, or go follow Ali and send her a message. I'm sure she's happy to answer any questions that you have.
Always up for having a chat and answering questions.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome.